It looks better. Hey, we're live. Sorry about the delay, guys. It looks like YouTube was giving us a bit of trouble, so we had to restart everything. But we are here, and we're here to talk about traveling in New Zealand and answer all your questions for you to plan the best trip possible in this amazing country. But what should you ask us the question? Why are we the experts?
Well, this is Robin and I'm Laura, and we're the team behind New Zealand's largest travel guide, which is NZ Pocket Guide, formerly known as backpackerguide.nz, but Robin will tell you all about that a little bit later on. But what we do every single Sunday is we do this live Q&A session for you guys, so you can come onto the live chat and ask your New Zealand travel questions. So although we do have this huge website where you can find lots of free information about traveling in New Zealand, whether it's just for a couple of weeks holiday in a camper van or doing a full working holiday, we honestly have so much information on that website there. But if you're not really into reading, then this is the next best thing you can come to, which is a Q&A session, and we do it at 8 a.m. New Zealand time every single Sunday. But if you want to know the times around the world, we do have, you have them now, okay, at these times. So in the UK, that's on a Saturday evening, and in France, that's on a Saturday evening around 8 or 9 p.m. In the US, that's on a Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. EST and 12 p.m. PST. And in India, that's bright and early on a Sunday morning at 12:30 a.m. And then on a Sunday morning again, in Australia, that's 6 a.m. So yeah, also throughout the week as well, if you do have any questions, we do compile them into a pool of questions for us to also answer during this live Q&A session. So if you do miss our live Q&A sessions and you do have questions, just make sure to put them in the comments of any of our videos, and we'll also answer them in the live session.
That's right. So there is a lot of things to touch on before we get started. So we have kind of a list of things to address. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about your trip in New Zealand, put them in a live chat right now. We'd be really happy to answer that. And Vishal, we're definitely going to answer your question about Lake Taupo very shortly. But first, let's just get started with a big thank you to you guys. We have reached 13,000 subscribers on YouTube this week. So thank you very much for everybody that is supporting our channel. The internet can be a very, very nasty place. Let's be honest, we received a lot of negative comment this week, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And most of the time, we just talk to a camera like we do right now. We never really see anyone. And when we create the website and when we create all the content, we just look at a screen and the keyboard. So it's really kind of awesome to know that you guys are supporting us, despite the fact that very often you are faceless. The only time that we meet you guys is when we're on the road and some people just come and say hi, or some people arrange to meet up with us. Yeah. Okay, I'm getting choked to say thank you, but yes, thank you so much for supporting the channel, and hopefully we'll reach 14,000 soon. But yeah, you guys are awesome, and thank you very much. All right, before I keep going with the thing that I have to do, let's just talk to Vishal. Vishal Penshal says, can you recommend an activity near Lake Taupo, perhaps a short hike? A short hike near Lake Taupo, Laura. What about one?
Yeah, there's loads of different options. One of a really easy short walk to do is the Waikato River Trail, which is actually accessible from Taupo, which is the main town around Lake Taupo. And you just follow sort of a section of the Waikato River, which is the largest river in New Zealand, or the longest river in New Zealand. And there's some really nice sort of forest scenery along there. And if you follow this river trail, then you get to some natural hot pools, which is really cool, and they're absolutely free to go and use. And they have quite a few, like they have changing rooms there and stuff, and even a cafe there as well. So, you know, it's a little bit sort of a touristy place to go, but it's free, and it's pretty cool to go and relax in some natural hot pools. So you can definitely go and do that near Lake Taupo, and that also is part of a walk as well.
So yeah, definitely do this one. That'd be really awesome.
Yeah.
And if you do want some more recommendation, we have ton on NZPocketGuide.com. So if you check out the website, we actually list a ton of different ones. But I think this is my favorite walk as well to do in the area. So yeah. If you want to challenge yourself, there is Mount Tohara. which is a bit of a steep climb, but you have a wonderful view from the top. I'd say it's about 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's about
It's quite
40 minutes to walk up, and then say about 40 minutes to come back down. But that also gives you awesome views of Lake Taupo, so that's always a really good one.
And it's really cool because you have some really cool rocks that you can stand on top to take some really awesome pictures. So if you want some really epic shots with the lake in the background and the whole town and everything, I think Mount Tohara is also a really good idea. And same thing, you will find that if you type just Lake Taupo on nzpocketguide.com, we'll have all the, where it is and everything like that. But yeah, I think that's going to be quite cool for you, Vishal. Let us know if you have anything else. And Nikhil Rao says, hello, sir and ma'am. So hello, how are you doing? All right, so something else that we wanted to address this week is the change from NZ Pocket Guide to Backpacker Guide. No, it's from backpackerguide.nz to NZ Pocket Guide. So if you guys have been on the website recently, or even if you've been on this channel, you've seen that the name of the channel has changed, and we're slowly going through the transition right here. So a couple of things that I want to address is that, first up, none of the content is changing. So we still do the same thing and we still help you guys a lot. It's just a different name, just because we thought it was a good time for a refresh and do something a little bit, just do something a bit newer, more modern. For the website itself, same thing. It's just a more modern look. Just the name of the site is changing, not much else. It's just all about the design. We removed a couple of things that were really useless on the website, but everything else really stays there and stays the same. And there's been a lot of bugs this week. We had almost 20 hours where the website was down, and we're very sorry about that. We worked really hard to try to make this transition as smooth as possible, but sadly there was a few kinks into it. But luckily, we have an amazing team of people which are helping us with the website. And I really want to take a second to thank all of them for the help. So that's Jordan, Jeremiah, Penn, Elmer, and even Jeff. You guys have been absolutely fantastic in helping us with the website, and they're still working literally right now. They are working on the website to try to make everything works well. So at the moment, the website is mostly up. You will find a few different characters which are wrong, but we can work on that. There is a few kinks around that, and hopefully this all going to be fixed in the next 3-4 days, and the website is going to be kind of going on a smooth sailing just with a brand new name. But one of the really great things that's been happening is that you guys actually have taken the time to give us some feedback. You contacted us on Facebook. There is also a tool to vote at the bottom of every article, and you kind of told us, hey, this was a bit wrong on the website, or this and that. And that's an interaction that we really love with you guys. You guys really take the time to help us make this guide better. We write it for you guys, right? We don't write it for ourselves because, well, we know those things and we travel around New Zealand all the time. So we really write it for you guys. So you guys have been really amazing at giving us some feedback. And I really hope that you guys keep on doing that. And as much feedback as you can give us, please do so. It's so handy for us to know what to do better. So yeah, I just want to take the time to actually say thank you. It has been a very long and rough week for us, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of very long days ahead of us again to try to get everything up to scratch. But we're getting there, and hopefully it's all for the best, because like that you get some more stuff. So so that's just to address this transition. So yes, Backpacker Guide and this mug right here will be no more. We will have to do something with those mugs and get rid of them or something. But yeah, so this branding will be no more, and we'll go with the NZ Pocket Guide. It's the same people behind. Nothing has changed. Yeah. So yeah, just reassuring everyone. All right. So Vishal is saying, thank you guys. Not sure why you're having negative comments. You guys are super helpful. Also, have you heard about the cultural show at the Novotel Rotura, or would you recommend another? Sure. I'll address the negative comments a little bit later. So just keep watching, and I'll tell you what has happened this week and why. But yeah, no, we know we're really helpful, and most people which actually are using the channel are usually really kind to us. And as I just mentioned right now, in thanking everybody for the support for the website, you guys are usually really, really awesome. Just this week has been a bit rough. All right, so the cultural show at the Novotel Rotura, yes, we've heard of it. It's a little bit I mean, there are basically, it's not bad, but there are some better ones, right? And Laura, do you want to talk about the two other ones, or three of the ones?
Well, there's quite a lot of options in Rotorua. One option is, well, there's actually 2 different night tours that you can be doing for a Maori show in Rotorua. One of them is the Tamaki Maori Village, which is just a short drive out of Rotorua, but they do pickups from main accommodations and stuff around Rotorua from the city centre. So it's really easy to get to. And the sort of experience involves sort of like a cultural show, also a hangi, which is a traditional Maori dinner. So you actually get to experience a hangi for yourself as well. And they also go through a few of the Maori traditions, like a welcoming ceremony. So there's a lot going on there as well. And something that's very similar to Tamaki Maori Village is the Mitai Village as well. So that's another so you can do those Maori cultural shows on an evening. Another option is Te Puia. So
if you want to do during the day.
If you want to do something during the day, Te Puia is not only a geothermal park, but it also has this sort of Maori cultural show element to it as well. So you can go there during the day. And again, that shows you what a welcoming ceremony is like, as well as showing you some sort of traditional song and dance in the Maori culture. And there's a load of more options as well, which if you go on nzpocketguide.com and search Maori tours, we list all the different types of Maori tours in Rotorua, and there really is a lot to choose from. So the Novotel Rotorua is not usually one that people go for necessarily. It's usually just like if they're guests there and it's just easy to go and see. But if you want to sort of see, there's a lot of Maori shows that are in really grand sort of like settings, like geothermal parks. So actually going to sort of like a mock-up of what a traditional village used to look like. So that sort of adds more to the experience rather than just seeing a cultural show in a hotel, which, I mean, it's not as maybe grand as some of the other options.
Exactly what she said. So hopefully that's helpful to you, Vishal. Nick Hill says, after a long time, I'm watching. Yay! Well, it's always cool to actually watch live rather than watching the replay. But, that's why we always also put the replay, because it's not necessarily a really convenient time for you guys. So actually, while you guys are watching, do you guys want to tell us where you're from and what time it is for you guys? So first up, we can update this time as well, because I always get it wrong. And also, we're just always really curious. Then we have Bhumika Yagnik. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. And he or she says, hi there. What are the things we shouldn't miss in Coromandel near Cathedral Cove?
Well, there's quite a lot of stuff.
There is really a lot to do in Coromandel. Something that really really surprised people. They usually think they're just going to go there like for one day or one night and just pass by. But you can do ton from Karanga Heke Gorges, which Laura is going to talk to you guys about, Pinnacle Walk as well, and even Hot Water Beach. And that's even just 3 that just pops into my mind already.
So the first thing that Robin mentioned was Karanga Heke Gorge, which is sort of one of the roads leading out of the Coromandel area. So you either get to it before you go to the Coromandel or just as you're leaving. And this is like a really awesome place where you see the Karanga Heke River going through this amazing gorge, like river gorge landscape. And it's really known for its mining history. So you get to see lots of sort of relics of gold mining tunnels, which is pretty impressive. And there's lots of really nice walks to do. You can do walks which are sort of alongside the river in like New Zealand forest and stuff like that. But there's also walks as well taking you through. I think there's a tunnel there that's like 1 kilometer long or something, and you walk through this tunnel, and at the end there's a waterfall. So there's loads of different options there, and that's definitely one of the things that you shouldn't miss near the Coromandel.
Hot Water Beach is really popular as well. So it's a place where when the tide goes, you are able to actually grab a shovel and dig yourself a bit of a jacuzzi because there is some really hot water coming from underground, and then you also have the waves that come with some cool water, and so you find a way to make the right temperature. We have a whole video about it. It's really cool. It's a really cool thing to do in the Coromandel Peninsula. There is also some amazing walks, and one amongst them is the Pinnacle Walk, which is a bit long and a bit challenging, but it gives you fantastic views and also some fantastic geological kind of features. But yeah, that should give you kind of a cool idea. If you want some more, head to nzpocketguide.com, and we have like 10 or 20 or 15, I think, must do in the Coromandel. So definitely check this out. It's really awesome. If you don't know how to find it, it's pretty simple. Just type Coromandel must do NZ Pocket Guide, for example, on Google, or just type Coromandel must do, and you'll be able to find our recommendation there. So yeah, tell us if you have any follow-up questions, Bhumika. We're here to help. Nikhil says, I hope to do my master's in New Zealand and travel all around New Zealand. Yeah, that'd be fun. Studying and traveling, you'll have a blast. You say, I'm from India. I am your Indian fan. Oh, that's awesome.
Cool.
Duan Gresh says, I'm watching from Malta. It's 8:17 on the 14th of December. Malta, such a small country. It's so awesome to have so much from Malta. On top of he's watching us from the past. For us, it's the 15th of December, since it's already Sunday, right? So we are about 12 hours ahead of you, basically. And I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
I think so you're watching
time zones are so trippy.
just for you, Duran, just a bit of an insight. The future is pretty awesome. So
the future looks good.
Yeah, the future is pretty awesome, and it hasn't been overtaken by robots yet. So you're safe to go, in the future, at least 12 hours. Well, I don't know what happened in 2 hours. Nikhil says, here's one it's 1 a.m.
1 a.m. in India.
Nice.
Okay.
Hiroshi, how are you doing? He came here last week, if I remember. Hey guys, how are you? Yep, doing well. What about you?
Good.
Do you recommend buying those thermal swimming clothes for the beach and activities like swimming with dolphins? All right. So what Hiroshi is talking about right now is those,
wetsuits.
like those wetsuits. Either those wetsuits or either like woolen layers that you can put on top, under wetsuits or anything like that. So first up, wetsuits. Most of the activities that you do, they will be provided to you. So I will say, don't travel with one. It is bulky. It's heavy. It's hard to wash. You end up smelling in bags and everything. I think you shouldn't travel with a wetsuit. If you're talking about thermal underlayers, like those merino wool thin layers that you can put on your wetsuit, just under your wetsuit to be warmer, or you can literally swim in because it keeps the heat. We recommend having them for like kind of everyday life in New Zealand. We talk about them quite a lot like long johns and long thermal layers. We talk about those things all the time. It's a great thing to have for your trip. You won't necessarily need it. I can't really recall the one time when we actually needed to add extra layers to the wetsuit that were provided for tours.
Yeah, so for most tours involving water activities in New Zealand, or I say most tours, but pretty much all tours that involve water and doing things in the water in New Zealand do provide wetsuits, and a lot of them do provide extra layers as well for when it is a bit colder. But as for going for the beaches, like if you want to wear something for going swimming and things, usually if it's warm, you want to go swimming and you just be in your swimwear and that's it. You don't necessarily want, if it's at the stage where it's too cold to actually go in, without thermal layers, then you would just take normal bathing suits, right? There's no point.
I mean, one time I remember, because Laura is a little bit thin, they actually told her to put some thermal layers under her wetsuit, but they provided it to her.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the one time. But and honestly, I went in and I was actually too hot in my wetsuit. So Laura actually for the second, and that was for scuba diving, so we're going deeper. And for the second dive, she actually took them off. So I think it's a bit. No, I wouldn't take that just for that specific reason.
The only thing you need for swimming is just your swimwear. And I mean, if you're swimming in the sun in New Zealand, if you're at a beach, obviously be aware that the sun, like the UV levels in New Zealand are quite intense. So you'll maybe want to wear like a rash vest or a t-shirt to protect your body from getting sunburned. So that would be the only other reason you might want to cover up with something more when you're swimming. But yeah, otherwise swimwear, or in New Zealand they call swimwear togs. So bring your togs to New Zealand.
All right. Vishal says, do you guys have any favorite restaurants in Auckland, Rotorua, Wellington, and Queenstown? All right. Queenstown, we like Devil's Burger. It's the competitor of Ferg's Burger.
We're a bit alternative. So.
The reason why we like it more is because there is no queue, and the burgers are really awesome. So that's for Queenstown. In what was this restaurant we went to in Wellington that I really liked?
I don't know.
Where you have like a lot of eateries, like it's kind of like a food court, but like really alternative.
Oh yeah.
The walls.
Central
World, isn't it?
No, Central. Oh.
I think it's the World something.
World. I don't know.
Damn. Do you wanna find it while I'm talking about Auckland? All right, so yeah, that was a really cool, kind of a really fun food court in Wellington. In Rotorua, I'm going to be really simple. We really did like the evening that we had with Tamaki Village, for example. They do really amazing meal, and it's as part of the Maori Village tour, you have been served the hangi, and that's really, really awesome. So that I would say it's my favorite restaurant. It's not a restaurant since you do a whole tour, but that's definitely my favorite kind of food experience in Rotorua. In Auckland, if you get a chance to go to a cafe, if you feel like you want a cafe on Queen Street, there is a cafe called The Shelf, which is by far my favorite cafe in the entire country. Ask for a hot chocolate and be amazed how delicious that is. As per restaurant-wise in Auckland, I do think that the most exceptional food experience you can get is either to get some awesome food on Waiheke Island. There is many different vineyards which also serve food, which is quite awesome. Or there is the Orbit restaurant, which actually moves around and it's on top of the Sky Tower, so you get the whole view. It's absolutely fantastic. If you're a little bit more on the budget, there is some awesome places to eat, like for example the Bluestone Room in Auckland. It's just off Queen Street. And the Bluestone Room is actually the oldest commercial building in Auckland. So it's kind of a piece of history in which you'll be served amazing food and some awesome Monteith beers, which are like locally made beers. What's the name of that Wellington stuff?
It's called Capital Market.
Oh, damn, I was wrong. Capital Market in Wellington. It's kind of a food court with so many different eateries around, and the food is really delicious there. And what I really like as well is that we took like one thing from one place, and Laura took something from somewhere else, and we kind of shared a little bit. We got dessert from another one, and it was kind of really fun. And it's one of those food court that doesn't have like, most food court that you find, they have McDonald's and KFC and this and that. It's kind of like always the same, right? You'll have the same kind of fast food style stuff. But on this one here, you have only independent stuff. So only thing you can only get there. So it's
just like a gathering of like food trucks. So if you're into sort of like street eats and street food in cities, then that's kind of the place to go in Wellington. Yeah.
So here you go. That's our favorite food in those places. Duran is laughing at my stupid comments, which I like.
Okay.
Bhumika says, another query, how is it to find the car parking in places of interest throughout New Zealand? Very easy everywhere aside from the city centre of Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch and Queenstown. For those, you will probably have to park a little bit outside, pay a lot for parking and then commute to get inside, or go straight away inside and go in one of the parking places and pay a lot of money for it if you do find a spot. But anywhere else in New Zealand, which are where most of the points of interest are, because obviously New Zealand is not a place you come to visit city, you'll find parking super easily, so that shouldn't be a concern for your trip. Hiroshi Abe says, I'm from Brazil and it's 4:22 right now. So here you go, middle of the afternoon. That's convenient time for you in Brazil.
Right.
Yeah, I like it. Nick Hill says, any Indian who is in New Zealand. So if there is any other Indians here, talk to him in the live chat.
Yeah.
Joan says, any tips on public transport in Auckland for someone who plans to stay there for several months and doesn't drive? Yes, our first tip will be to get an 80 hop card. So 80 is Auckland Transport and hop is the hop.
Hop on the transport.
All right, tell him about it.
Yeah, so the main sort of public transport in Auckland are buses, and there is a train network as well. So to use those public transports, there is something called the AT Hop card, which is basically like a travel card where you preload credit onto it and you use that to basically pay for your fares when you're going on the buses and the trains. But the reason to get it is because you get a discount off the fares every time you use it. So you do pay a little bit less every time you're using it, providing that you do use all the credit, because obviously you need to pay a certain amount to get the hop card in the first place. But usually if you're using public transport a lot, it ends up being much cheaper to get the AT hop card. So yeah, they usually you can top them up in Britomart at the train station there, which Britomart is in the city centre of Auckland.
It's the main bus station in the city centre.
Yeah, and you can also do it online as well, which is pretty easy. You just make an online payment to top up your AT Hop card. And in a lot of the convenience stores as well, they do offer a service to basically you pay them just to top up your AT Hop card as well. And usually they have a sign outside of the stores that will do that. Anything else?
Yeah, so the one thing I'm going to give you as a tip is first up, brace yourself. They are building a lot of tunnels and everything because they're creating a subway system in Auckland, and it's absolute chaos right now, and it will remain chaos for the next 3-4 years. So brace yourself. There is a bit of chaos traffic-wise in Auckland Central at the moment. But the one thing I'm going to actually give you as a tip is if you plan on staying in Auckland for several months, you're either going to study or you're going to get a job, right? So for either of those things, I would strongly
Suggest?
Yes, that's the word. Thank you. I would strongly suggest for you to actually find your job or know which university and where you're going to need to go to first. So while you do that, you stay in a hostel, so you save some money, and then you find yourself an accommodation close to those places, so you avoid the commuting. Or if you do, you make sure that your commuting to and from work is only one bus or one train, or the one train. If you have to start doing multiple buses and everything, from my personal experience, the timetable never align well, and you will spend so much time of your life commuting. So in my opinion, pace yourself, know where you're going to want to go, and get yourself an accommodation that's going to be able to get you there in as little as possible commuting. My personal opinion. So yeah, so that's our take for that, Duran. So if you guys have any extra questions, put them in the comment. In the meantime, we're going to be addressing the big elephant in the room, which is White Island. So if you guys are not aware, on Monday, the 9th of December, 2019, which is 6 days ago, the volcano on White Island, which is just off the shore of Whakatane, which is on the North Island, exploded. This is a place that runs tours there quite regularly. And out of this explosion, so far as we know, there have been 15 confirmed deaths. There are 11 people which are in critical condition in several hospitals around New Zealand and Australia, and there are 25 more people which are in burn units in those places. So because we do have a video about this experience that was shot about 2 years ago and has been published on the channel about a year ago, we have been receiving a lot of comments about that. So there is kind of a few things that we'd like to say.
Yeah, so just to sort of address the White Island situation, we just want to say that visiting an active volcano comes with its inherent risks, like most things in life. And although hundreds of thousands of people have visited it safely over the decades, this is a real tragedy, and it's unlikely tours will be operating there anytime soon. This is by no means a statement that visiting New Zealand is unsafe. It remains one of the safest countries in the world. We are able to answer questions about what the tour was like when we went there, and we have a video about it on our channel, but as we have no insights into the investigation, we recommend finding official, serious media sources such as Radio NZ to follow the developments. So Robin can give you guys a bit of a take of our visit when we went to White Island in 2017/2018, if you want to go ahead.
Yep. So White Island tour was for us a very exceptional experience. What we really felt when going there is that we were in another world. It was an experience that was unexpected. We did not know what to expect when getting there, and we did 2 years ago very much enjoyed it. We also felt that everybody else in the tour really enjoyed it. Nobody really felt like we were scared or unsafe. The crew was doing a fantastic job, and what was very transparent and what we show in the video that we have of White Island shows that all the staff members that were running tours over there really enjoyed their work as well. They really had fun. They were very happy people. So some of them have been affected by the incident, as far as we know. But and obviously all our thoughts and prayers and everything goes with them and their families. But yeah, we definitely had an amazing time during this experience, and we are a little bit saddened that the fact that we have a video about the subject actually brought a ton of negativities to the channel. The comment section of that video just became an absolutely toxic place of people just saying that everybody's stupid doing this kind of activities, and just extremely negative place. I personally feel that, speaking just for Laura and I, we did know that there was a risk going on an active volcano. It wasn't unknown to us when we decided to book and jump on a boat to go do that. We were fully aware that there was. However, every time we do something in life, you kind of weigh up the risk. Every time I cross the street, I weigh up the risk that a stray driver could just run me over. And so when weighing up the risk, we thought that the enjoyment that we will get out of going to a place like that and the risk of it exploding on that day was just, the balance was right for us to go there. Now, what is really sad for us is the fact that a lot of people think that we should take the video down, we should apologize, and also just personally insult us for deciding to go to a place like this. I personally feel that this was a choice of ours, and that people definitely don't have a say in us having a choice. And as per taking the video down, we feel that because it's a place that people are unlikely to be visiting anytime soon, it would be kind of sad because there is not going to be that much ways to see what an active volcano look like other than footage. I personally am amazed by all the wonders of nature, and I love watching nature documentaries showing us how amazing planet Earth is, knowing that I will not be able to see them myself because either species getting extinct or because, well, they're too far, or the environmental cost of me going there wouldn't be there. So I feel like taking this kind of footage down will be a bit silly. With that in mind, there has been a lot of negative coverage as well, news coverage of the event, very sensationalism and everything like that. So that's why we recommend checking out Radio New Zealand. They have a very good, comprehensive website with a lot of amazing written piece, and they do very good journalism work. So that's kind of our take on that. And if you do have any questions about what the tour is like and how, just a few things about White Island and our experience there, we are happy to comment on that. But a lot of people have been commenting on political stuff and everything like that, and this is not our place to answer. So you will find that this is the only video on our channel where we just, quickly kind of click like on the comment and don't respond to anyone, while any of our other videos will always take the time and effort to reply to almost every single comment that we get, as long as it's not something super insulting to us. Is there anything you want to add, or should we move on?
I think we can move on.
All right. Cool. So that is out of the way. Now, Abd Al-Haraman says, hello, friends. I'm from Saudi Arabia. Is the option of organic and vegan product available in supermarket in New Zealand? Yes, it is. There is a lot of offer. However, it is much more expensive than non-organic products, and the choice is a little bit more limited.
Yeah, so there's definitely, in terms of like fruit and vegetables, there's always a section with definitely organic produce that you can be choosing. But like Robin says, it's usually more expensive than the other products available. So just be aware of that your budget for food will be maybe a little bit more on the higher side. And the
choice would be smaller as well.
Yeah, and in terms of like products you would have if you're vegan, from soy products, that sort of thing. There is quite a lot of options in New Zealand supermarkets, so you definitely won't have any problems there. So yeah, usually you can find a lot of variety of different products as well. And obviously there's different size supermarkets throughout New Zealand depending on where you're going, but there are even like specialized health stores and food stores in some of the bigger cities. But in the smaller towns and stuff, you obviously have smaller supermarkets, which will still have all the essentials for a vegan diet or an organic diet. But in those smaller towns, there might be just a little bit less choice. So be aware of that as well.
There you go. All right. So while you guys getting warmed up with some more questions and maybe a bit more cheerful, I feel like I've done myself down the last thing.
Yeah.
We are going to be answering a question from a girl called Laura. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get Laura to read it. So the first thing that we want to say is that, Laura, that was the right way to ask us a question.
Yeah, so she's basically asking us a question about a budget for traveling to New Zealand. But what we always ask people is to give us some context about the things that you'll be doing there and how you'll be traveling, because setting yourself a budget for New Zealand is different for every type of traveler. Like, there's always differences. So it's really good to, if you are going to ask us this sort of question, to make sure that you give us as much context as possible. So
so brace yourself. Laura has a long question to read from Laura.
So Laura on YouTube asked, my husband and I won't be backpackers per se, but considering we won't be using a car, we will be relying on public transport. We're hoping to go to Wellington for a week as tourists. We plan on staying in an Airbnb or a hotel with a full kitchen so we could eat most of our meals at our accommodation. I'm thinking 2 meals a day at home and 1 out a day. We're in Australia, so we won't have huge costs with airline prices if we book at the right time. As for tours, I may do a lot of the rings related tour, but still researching to see what's the best fit for me and what the reviews are on the ones in Wellington. I plan on hiking and walking most places. We're cleaners, so we're used to being quite active and on our feet a lot. We're not huge souvenir people unless it's really unique and not too touristy feeling. No Wellington magnets for us, maybe something out of the Weta gift shop. So how much money would you think we should budget for what I described? Thank you.
Thank you. I love having some context. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just going to preface with a couple of things while we'll talk about everything. First up, all the prices we're going to give you right now and all the budget we're going to give you is going to be in New Zealand dollars. So you will have to convert it to your Australian dollars if that's where you are. And if your guys are watching this video are from somewhere else, just make sure you just convert that as well. Second, just to address the accommodation, you won't find a hotel that has a full kitchen for you. It's either going to be a motel that has a very small kitchen or studio unit that you'll be able to get, or an Airbnb, but that's not going to be a hotel.
Yeah.
With that in mind, let's just get started with the budget. First up, for flights.
Yeah, so if you're coming from New Zealand, you should...
From Australia.
Oh, sorry, from Australia. You should... That's obviously one of the cheapest places that you can get flights for New Zealand. So if you do get a good deal, you could be getting a return flight for around 500 New Zealand dollars per person. So obviously, that's something to add into your budget.
Yeah. So 500 per person means that you will get a really good deal for a return flight. It probably gonna be it probably gonna be a bit more than that. But you mentioned that you were able to get yourself a good deal. So if you plan ahead, you didn't mention when you're gonna be coming. So I don't know how far in advance you can scout flights. But $500 return could be something that will work pretty well.
Yeah.
For that. Now for accommodation, so I already talked about it a little bit, but you won't find a hotel that has a full kitchen. You will need to either go to a motel, which there are some really good motels around. And at this point, you make sure you choose the right room, kind of the studio unit. They're usually a bit more the premium ones because they're usually for a whole family. So they're priced for 4 people, not just for 2. So you may pay a little bit extra for that, or you want to check Airbnb. Now we put an average of $110. That's on the average for the Airbnb.
And if you're looking for more budget style accommodation.
If you're looking for like budget style accommodation on Airbnb, that will have your own kitchen. Otherwise, it will be more. So I put 110 per night for the 2 people, but I'm thinking you may want to increase that to 190 to be more reasonable. But again, you haven't told us when you want to kind of plan that. So if you book really in advance and if you do a lot of scouting and everything like that, you may be able to get yourself a good deal.
Yeah, so just to really like sort of emphasize with the Airbnb, you usually get the best deals on Airbnb if you are booking very well, a lot of time in advance. Obviously, all the best price Airbnbs go first, and the closer you leave it to the date, the more likely that's going to be all booked up. So definitely to get the best prices, it is always best to book in advance.
Yeah. All right. So again, Airbnb, we paid 110 per night, but you won't increase that. You may want to increase that to 190 if needed. Now for food shopping, so this is only going to cover the fact that you want to make food for yourself for breakfast and for lunch, for example, and have dinner out. That's kind of what you mentioned in the stuff. So for the food budget, because you seem to be really budget focused, we only put about $25 per day. We think that's reasonable for you to be able to basically get things for breakfast as well as enough to make yourself a sandwich, so you can pack your sandwich in your bag and be on the go for the rest of the day, or to just make yourself some pasta or rice dishes in the evening and eat out at lunch. But that's kind of what we had in mind, of like basically the food that you're going to make yourself is going to be kind of on the cheap. So we put about $25 per day for two people for supermarket food shopping, and we think that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah. So, and you did mention that you wanted to eat out about once per day. Again, there's a huge variety of places that you can eat out in Wellington, from the real budget places to the more like fancier restaurants. But sort of just to give yourself like enough budget for eating out. And sometimes you might want to treat yourself to an extra coffee here and there. It's good to maybe give yourself about $90 per day for the two of you for eating out.
So to give you an example on how we thought about this one, right? $90, right? So we were thinking about two mains, $35 each. So we're already at $70. So you have a $20 to spare, which will be either for $10 for $1 a dessert to share, which that's usually how we eat in the restaurants. With Laura, we usually get a couple of mains, or either a starter and a main, because usually the portions are really big. So we go one starter, one main. We kind of like to share things a lot, and then we have a dessert to share just as a treat. So that's usually how we eat. And then I also leave you a spare $10. We should be able to get you a coffee each throughout the day. So that's basically how we were thinking of this one. But that also means that sometimes you may spend less because you just get, like the food court that we mentioned in Wellington earlier in this live video. If you watch the live video, if you're watching a replay, it was called Central Market. It's cool, fun food court in Wellington, which has a lot of different food. Anyway, if you go to places like that, you will spend obviously much less than the $90. And then at that point, you have much more money left to be able to spend on a bigger meal or bigger epic restaurant meal afterwards.
Yeah.
So and then for tools plus souvenirs, so you may not get yourself some souvenirs, as you say, no fridge magnet for you, and it's okay. You don't have to collect fridge magnet. I don't know why there's such a stigma on fridge
I need magnets. To get my fridge magnet.
But we know a person that we actually have to buy fridge magnet to from most places we go to, so that's why we're joking about it. But tools and souvenir, we put about $50. $500. Sorry, $50. We put $500 because tools tend to be a little bit more expensive. For example, you want to visit the Weta Caves, if I'm correct, about $70 per person. Is that?
Yeah, for the Weta Workshop tour.
Weta Workshop, So it's about $70 per person. So we're already at $140 right here. If you do another tour, like a half-day tour or something like around Wellington, that could be about the same price again, or even a little bit more. You may, when you get in Wellington, want to take the cable car. You may, and there's always all those little extra costs. The cable car is a popular one.
But the cable car is only like $7.
Exactly, that's already $15. You may want to go to Zealandia. And
about $16 for Zealandia.
Exactly, but that's the thing. We're already at $45 right here, so that's already 10% of your budget with just those two cheap things.
Yeah.
So I feel like it kind of goes up really quickly, and you're always surprised. I mean, we are always surprised on what it ended up costing with the activities, right? So for this reason, I put $500 just because. Well, again, that would be about $150 for two people to go do the Weta Workshop tours. That would be about $45, let's say about $50 for Zealandia and a cable car, which you definitely have to go to Zealandia for sure because it's really awesome.
Yeah.
So that's already $200. And if you want to do a day tour somewhere, it's usually about $150 per person. So that would be an extra $300 right here. And that brings it already to $500. And we only covered 3 days right here. And then that gives you the rest of your time in Wellington doing free things that like the Te Papa and the Te Papa Museum and other awesome things that they used to do in Wellington. So that's kind of our take on how we actually see this one. We have a video on the free and cheap things to do in Wellington as well. So you definitely want to check this one out. But yeah, activity one, that's where we're at. Then obviously you're going to need to sort out transportations because transportation is going to be a thing and you're not going to be driving.
Yeah, so if you're wanting to maybe explore some of the, greater Wellington area, because there is more to see in Wellington than just the city centre, then you might want to take some transport out to maybe one of the wine regions in the Wairarapa, for instance, where you can take a train or a bus out there, or go up the Kapiti coast as well, which also has bus services and trains services up to a point there. So if you're wanting to explore and maybe do a few walks, like you mentioned, you were keen on doing hiking and walking, you can definitely go and explore some of the sort of other areas around Wellington. And for that budget, we've given you about $250, sort of bearing in mind that you might be doing quite a few different sort of transport around, and also bearing in mind that once you get your flight to Wellington, you're going to need some airport transfers or take a taxi into wherever your accommodation is. You may even decide to stay in accommodation out of town, which is often the case when you're staying in Airbnbs, because not all of them are conveniently located in the city centre. So you might need to, for instance, take a bus quite often if you're staying in one of the Airbnbs in the suburbs, or you might want to take a taxi. So just to make sure that you do have sort of enough in your budget, and really thinking of like the most you're going to spend, it is going to be about $250. But that doesn't really necessarily mean that you will spend that much. It's just making sure that you have enough in your budget to do so. Yeah,
and knowing that already out of this $250 budget, there is already about $100, which is going to be to and back and forth from the airport. So that's already that. So you left with just $150. So I know it sounds like a lot, but putting in context. So the total of that one will be for 2 people, 7 days escape in Wellington from Australia, $3,325. That's our total. Obviously, we gave you a lot of caveats right here. So if you decide to increase or lower, definitely go through and do the math again. But just to recap, just to make sure that you have all the numbers right, we did put $500 per person for the flight. We put $110 per night of accommodation. We put $25 per day on food shopping at the supermarket. We put $90 per day on food in restaurant or eating out, basically. So $90 per day on eating out. And tours plus souvenir, we put $500. And for transportation altogether, including the transportation throughout the week as well as to and from the airport, we did put $250. So the total is $3,325. But definitely check it out and change a few numbers. But I hope that this was really useful to you. Now, Laura, we do have a lot of budgeting articles on nzpocketguide.com where we list the price of every activities and everything like that. So that's going to be super useful to you. So definitely head to nzpocketguide.com and check out our budgeting place. So it's on travel tips. And so you prepare your trip, travel tips, and then definitely click on budget, and you will have so much more information there that you literally be able to make your budget to the dollar. And that's going to be super useful. So check out the links in the description below. And if you guys are watching this video, make sure to put your comments, your question in the comment below. We pick them up all the time like this one, and we make some videos out of them to help you out plan your trip. All right, live chat. What is Scott saying? Scott says, coming for 4 weeks at the end of February. I've watched a lot of your videos. Very informational and helpful. Thanks. Keep up the great work and awesome content. Oh, thank you very much. You see, why was I such a sourpuss before? Just saying that everybody was mean to us. You're lovely. Thank you, Scott. You're awesome. What is Annie Piper? Oh, Annie. Oh, so if you guys don't know, Annie was traveling with her friend Atty, and we call them Annie and Atty, and they were traveling from the US to New Zealand, and they were really fun on the live chat. What are they saying? Hey, so you guys were live. Just want to say hello.
Hello.
Atty and I just got back to the US from New Zealand and had a fantastic time. That's awesome. What did you do? What did you like? Tell us all about it.
Yeah.
Thanks for all your tips. We are hoping to go back soon. Yeah, New Zealand does that to a lot of people. A lot of people come to New Zealand and they're like, I need to get back there.
Why did I only book 2 weeks here?
Well, only 2 weeks. So so how long did you stay here, Annie? And what did you like the most? What did Atty like the most? And say hi to Atty for us as well.
Yeah.
Hiroshi says, do you guys recommend buying a car for 1 year and 3 months period in order to save money with transportation and maybe accommodation? A year and 3 months, that's a long time. That's 15 months in New Zealand. Definitely, I think you should buy a car.
Yeah.
You will definitely save a lot of money on transportation for sure. Now, the thing is, you're going to have to be really careful when buying a car. We do have some videos about buying a car and a lot of content on NZ Pocket Guide. So you have to read it because there are a lot of really bad cars around. If you watched New Zealand's biggest gap year, we had camper van issues more than once. Actually, almost midway through, a bit more than midway through the trip, we actually the camper van died on us, and we had to buy a car and keep going. And that was a very stressful day because we had to do some activities the next day. So definitely a bit of crazy time. So yes, definitely we would recommend buying a car in New Zealand for many reasons, but make sure you are a bit careful. Anything you want to add on that?
I just think it depends really how tight your budget is. I actually, to be honest, for the first year I was in New Zealand, I didn't have a car for the entire time that I was here. And I actually did manage to save a ton of money, considering that, you don't have to worry about buying fuel. You don't need to worry about, if things go wrong with your car, and you have to deal with and also the warrant of fitness and all this sort of thing, which is basically the sort of certificate to show that the car is roadworthy, for instance. So it really depends, what your budget is, and also how much flexibility you want. If you want ultimate flexibility to go wherever you want, because in New Zealand the public transport system is not as great as other countries in the world, then maybe for that full flexibility you do want to have a car, and it is definitely good to have one for as long as 1 year and 3 months. But if you're on a super tight budget, then you can still make your way around on public transport, which is going to be much cheaper. And you don't, as long as you're not renting a car, for instance, if it's between buying a car and renting a car, obviously buying a car is cheaper. But if you're using other types of public transport, like maybe the buses to get between cities, or using the inner city public bus network, then this is definitely going to be cheaper than taking a car.
Yeah, for sure. And the best tip is that if you have a doubt about the car, don't buy it.
Yeah.
If any doubt, don't buy it. Move on. There's so many cars for sale in New Zealand. Just if you have a doubt, like we did, and we bought it, and we thought it was stupid.
Yeah.
So if you have a doubt, don't buy it. All right. Going back on the live chat, Annie is telling us all about her trip. So Annie, she says, Annie went to travel in New Zealand for about 3 weeks. So Annie says, we were there for 3 weeks. We did zip lining. Well, I did. Ati just joined the bushwalk at the end, the one on Wahiki. We also did the whale watch in Kaikoura and saw some seals.
Oh, amazing.
So Kaikoura is the wildlife mecca. There's so many marine wildlife. It's so awesome. Then she says, we went horseback riding in Isengard.
Oh, yeah, so Glenorchy.
In Glenorchy, so that's near Queenstown.
Yeah.
And they also did you also do horseback riding in Cathedral Cove? No, you just went to Cathedral Cove, right? Yeah. They just went to Cathedral Cove. We also got to see the little blue penguins in Oamaru. We both loved the horseback riding. Ati's favorite was the penguins. Mine was Cathedral Cove. Cathedral Cove is such an amazing place. It just feels grand. Have you seen Narnia? It's actually one of the filming locations in Narnia. So if you actually watch the trilogy of Narnia, I can't remember in which of the movie it is, but you can very clearly see it. And in the scene with the lions and everything, you can clearly see that it's Cathedral Cove. So it's quite cool. So if you can get a hold of the Chronicles of Narnia, I think that's the name. Yeah. God, there's been quite a few years since I watched that. She said we also tried the fried kiwis at Eric's Fish and Chips. It was delicious. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. That is something that we definitely recommend. Fried kiwi fruit in Queenstown at Eric's Fish and Chips. So awesome. One of my favorite desserts in the whole country. So definitely. Someone was asking one of the best place to eat. Best eat in Queenstown. There you go.
Eric's Fish and Chips.
Get the deep fried kiwi fruit. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Then she's saying Queenstown was probably our favorite place that we went. Yes, Queenstown is a favorite of a lot of people. So it's just really expensive. And she said, yes, I see Narnia. That's why we went. Oh, well, that's
actually, if I recall, I think Annie and Ati asked about other Narnia locations around New Zealand on the live chat. I do remember you asking questions about that. So
I'm getting old. I can't remember those kind of things.
So Cathedral Cove is obviously the best sort of Narnia location.
I'm getting too old for memory.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So if you guys have a few last minute questions, we can definitely go some quick fire questions right now.
3 minutes left.
Yeah, go on live chat and go crazy. In the meantime, so you guys have been awesome. Even just in this live session right now, you guys have been really cool. You ask a lot of questions. You've actually been supportive. Scott gave us a nice little like, pepped up and everything. So yeah, so that, like you guys right now, you that are watching, is why we do the channel, right? The negativity that I talked about when addressing White Island is, and we know that it's a different crowd of people. It's just that the internet can be a very nasty place sometimes, and when you get pounded with, I think it's over 1,000 comments that we got literally throughout the week of people just saying nasty things. It just kind of gets you, and it's like, God damn it, why are we bothering? Why the hell are we bothering making video if it's to get so much crap? But it turned out that we don't, because most of the time we just got lovely people. So that's why we keep, and that's why we live this week again. We actually did consider not coming live and be like, we're gonna let the dust settle and not come here. But then it's kind of like, then after we have to move on to Christmas straight away, because next week is Christmas already.
Christmas special. So, yeah. Don't miss our Christmas special next week.
Christmas? You're going to make us wear hard, don't you?
I think so. I think it's needed.
Okay, the only thing special next week is going to be that we wear hard. There is not going to be anything else special. Either.
Make sure you ask your Christmas questions for our live session next week. If you do have any questions concerning Christmas in New Zealand, we will be here ready to answer your questions at Sunday, 8 a.m. New Zealand time.
There you go. Matt Borrell says, apart from the Lord of the Rings tour, what else is there to do in Twizel? Oh, actually, cool story. Matt watched videos of the Twizel Lord of the Rings tour.
Oh, yeah?
And he was like, I was about to do the tour, but he learned while watching the video that wasn't his thing. So we saved the money.
Okay,
so it's kind of a different way to do things, but that's true. Like, we have videos about most tours in New Zealand. God damn, we have like 380 videos of tours in New Zealand. So if you're unsure about spending your money on the tour, watch a video and you may realize it's not my thing. Or you may be like, definitely, I want to spend my money on that. So that's cool. So anything else, Lord? So any other activity to do around Twizel?
Yeah, so actually we do have other videos of things to do in Twizel. One of the quite interesting things is that there's a guy that has a cheese factory in a shipping container in Twizel. So you can go there and taste the cheeses that guy makes, which is always fun. But it's in
cheese is always a winner.
Yeah, but it's in it's like in a really nice area where you get views of the mountains all around you and stuff. So that's just a really alternative thing to do in Twizel. Also in Twizel, there is a salmon farm nearby. So if you're into salmon, there's somewhere you can go and try fresh salmon from the canals that they have around there. There's also walks and stuff to do around Twizel as well, which if you look on NZ Pocket Guide and search Twizel, we do list some of the walks that you can do around Twizel as well.
So check the website, nzpocketguide.com. It's free and you're going to get plenty of walks there. Then the drive to Geraldine is not that long from Twizel, right? It's about 2 hours, I think.
Yeah, I'd say, but it's about 2 hours. That's quite long.
But, if you're in Twizel and you are really wanting some epic activities, you can drive to Geraldine, and then there is some epic things to do there, like some amazing whitewater rafting, one of our favorites called Rangitata rafting. And again, I mean, it's just if you're going for a whole day activity, I personally think that 2 hours is not too long of a drive, but it's really up to you, Matt. You have to weigh in your options. But yeah, so in Geraldine, which is basically kind of the next town,
it's Twizel, then it's like Lake Taupo, then it's Geraldine.
But Lake Taupo is kind of your pit stop. You just stop there, take a picture, and you're sorted. So yeah, there is Lake Taupo, not too far there. But I mean, I will go to Geraldine and I will do a whitewater rafting experience here, probably because I really like whitewater rafting. I'm really into that. So I will always try to find what is the closest whitewater rafting options there. So I will go there, and on the way you can take a picture of Lake Taupo, which is very famous as well. So here you go. That'll be our take on
I think actually my alternative, if you're going to do a long day trip, is to go to Mount Cook, because that's closer and makes more sense.
Yeah, if you want, go to Mount Cook. There is no whitewater rafting in Mount Cook, though.
No, there's not. But Mount Cook's pretty cool.
I'm just being eager. I'm just being eager to do some whitewater rafting, and we have a whitewater rafting trip soon. And I just have that in mind. That's the only thing I'm thinking about. That's probably why I just say that. All right, what is happening? Hiroshi says, don't mind the negative comments on your video. You guys doing an amazing job. Thank you very much. We love you too. Annie says, sorry about the nasty comments. I wish more people would keep New Zealand in their thought and prayer instead of posting mood things. We do think that people should do that as well. You guys are awesome. Please keep it up. Thank you very much, Annie. And Preston says, hi, bro. Okay. So
I think that's meant to be hi, not
is it? Okay, it looks like an evil laughter, like
maybe.
But I don't know. But hi to you too. Matt says, thank guys. And Matt says he's already going to Mount Cook. So here you go. Mine is better. Here you go. Thank you for picking sides. I like this. And Kenneth Reed says, coming to New Zealand in March for 12 days. What do you recommend?
Everything.
Kenneth, here's what we're going to do for you, Kenneth. Pick any of our videos on YouTube right now, any of our videos, and give us some context. Tell us, that you're coming in March, and for